Everybody had a hard year. What a time for the wicked, the hungry and the brave. Ain't no time left to pretend. The car is home.
Hello, and welcome back to my podcast entitled Suboxone Out the Monster. This is episode number 5. But first, let me apologize for something I wish I didn't have to do. It's a waste of your time and mine. I will read a medical disclaimer, and here we go. All content and information provided on this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute medical or other professional healthcare advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other health care provider for any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment. All that just to keep the lawyers off my back. But here's the best part about the disclaimer that I get to say. Never, never, never take any prescription medication that is not prescribed by your health care provider and obtained from your pharmacist. There's a lot of fentanyl floating around out there, and you know how dangerous that can be. So today, let's talk about another option besides Suboxone for the treatment of opioid use disorder. Let's talk about methadone clinics. A methadone clinic, federally known as an opioid treatment program, is a specialized medical facility that provides medical-assisted treatment, or MAT, for people with opioid use disorders. It dispenses methadone, a long-acting synthetic opioid, under medical supervision. They watch you take it, put it in your mouth, and they watch you swallow it. Methadone will relieve cravings and prevent withdrawal without creating the euphoric high. Now, that's a pretty good idea. Methadone clinics have been around for about 50 years and is a good and effective program. But there are some concerns that I have about the methadone clinics. First, methadone is a Schedule II opioid, and therefore is inherently more dangerous than buprenorphine, which is a Schedule III opioid found in Suboxone. Now, I discussed medication schedules in episode 3 if you need to go back and review it. Now, another thing that methadone clinics have you do is come in every day for someone to watch you take your medication. Now, people have lives with a million responsibilities: work, school, kids, shopping, etc. So there's just another thing that you have to carve out of your day to go and do. Lastly, I never worked at a methadone clinic, and I've never been to one. But my patients tell me that methadone clinics are open-air drug dens with multiple drugs and are bought, sold, and bartered for in the parking lots. Now, I'm not a rehabilitation specialist, but I do know that one way of helping addiction is to change your environment. I don't think that seeing a parking lot full of drug deals is changing your environment. You know that I'm a big supporter of methadone for opioid use disorder. With methadone, you take a safer Schedule III opioid rather than methadone, which is a Schedule II opioid. With Suboxone, you take your medication at home, allowing you to preserve both your privacy and your confidentiality. And lastly, with methadone, you avoid the toxic open-air drug markets at the methadone clinics. Suboxone is not a perfect medication. I urge you to discuss Suboxone with your medical provider. Now, in the next session, I will talk to another guest who is my patient, and we will discuss their journey to life on Suboxone. I think you'll find the story interesting. Thank you very much, and remember, just keep it in the road. Thank you. Hey, Guy, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, you have been a patient of mine for several years, and I understand you used to be on opioids. Is that correct?
It's been so long, I've almost forgotten, but yes, that is a fact.
Now, how did you start opioids? Was it recreational or was it an injury or surgery?
So I kind of pride myself on, and if right or wrong, correctly or incorrectly, but I feel like I'm a bit of a rule follower and never really got in trouble in school. had my fair share of speeding tickets, but that's everybody does that. But I was on the straight and narrow, and I got a back injury in or around 2006, sometime around there, 2007, and that led to prescriptions. Obviously, like I don't even need to explain how all that works, but I didn't really know what was going on. And this is how crazy and how naive I was to this whole thing. I would, because of my job, I would have to not take it at certain points during the work week, and I felt like I was having allergies. Like it seemed like allergies, like seasonal allergies. My nose would be running, my eyes would be watering. I felt a little achy, and I had no clue what that was, but I knew that Ultram, and because at that point in time it was Ultram. I knew that made it stop. And my aunt, my mom and my aunt both have medical backgrounds, and they were like, well, maybe there's some kind of antihistamine in the Ultram. Like, you got to remember, this was 20 years ago, so it wasn't as widespread. I'm sure it was widespread, but it wasn't as identifiable as it is now. And just one thing led to another, and when you run out, you run out. And that's not something that you can just go to the grocery store and get more of. Money or no money, you have to, like, you find yourself doing things that you would otherwise never, ever, ever imagine yourself doing to be able to stop the aching and the what I thought was allergies. And it was so gradual, the progression from I could call my dentist or my doctor or whoever and say, hey, I'm still having issues with my back. Can you refill this? And they're like, sure. How many do you need? And over the course of months, it went from easy to get to me really doing some pretty shady things to get my hands on it. And it's not something that discriminates good people, bad people, criminals, non-criminals. It'll turn a good person into a monster.
Of course, runny nose is a sign of withdrawal. Okay, we know that very well now, as well as the achy muscles, the shakes, okay, the nausea, the vomiting, and the inability to sleep, etc. Okay, so you got to the point where you had to have something.
Yep, I did, and it went, like I said, it went from easy to get to really, really difficult. And once you exhaust each little avenue, each step along the way gets harder and harder, and you become more and more desperate, and it just gets tougher. And I could totally see if I didn't have the means, or if I didn't have the knowledge, and I didn't have it at first, but if Suboxone and Subutex had not been available, or somehow I stumbled across that, I don't know where I would have been. There's no telling, because it doesn't stop. It just keeps on going.
Now, did you buy drugs on the street?
Never did that. Well, take that back. So I did, but I didn't. I never did anything other than take a pill. Now, I did get those and I was very indiscriminate in the way that I obtained them. I never really, I started to say I never did anything illegal, but of course it was illegal to take prescription drugs that aren't yours. But I didn't get to the point where I was forging documents or pharmacies or nothing like that. But it could have gotten to that point. And
did you pay for these medications?
Oh yeah,
you paid for it.
Dearly. But I could justify it being not severe, because I would just tell myself, well, I haven't gone to a needle, or I haven't gone to smoking it, or I haven't gone to anything like that. And it in my mind was, okay, this is less severe. I'm not at a trouble point yet because I'm just doing what other people are able to do through a doctor. And that's wrong, but it's how you can justify it at the time.
Yes. Now, John, pardon me, did you ever steal the medications?
No.
No. Okay. You never
No.
broke into a house or a
No, no,
business
no,
or
no,
anything
no.
like that? No.
Never, never.
Gotcha. Now, was there one precipitating event that led to the decision to get off of opioids and onto Suboxone? Did anything specifically happen, or was it just a process?
Um, it was, so it's like I'm very open with my family, and we're very close, and I could see the wreckage and the damage that it was doing to my relationships. Uh, I think I don't know if I had a girlfriend or a fiance at the time, one or the other, but like I could see where this was going, and at first I tried a rapid detox, which didn't work. Not that it didn't work, but it leaves you incapable with long-term tools. And at the time, I didn't know of anything close by to where I lived, so I was flying halfway across the country once a month to a doctor to get this prescription, um, to be able
Suboxone?
to. Yep, yep,
Oh, got it.
once a
Got it.
month.
Got it. Got it. Now,
And
John, were you ever in any rehab programs?
yes, but I was able to. I wasn't ready mentally for that. Like I just felt like I could. I wasn't as bad as some of the others that were there. That's what I told myself. It was a very strange way of thinking, but it's just how you do it. You find yourself doing things and rationalizing in ways that just aren't quite right, but you can find a way, and you can find um, an excuse, and that's
Got
what
it.
I did.
Were you outpatient rehab or inpatient rehab?
Um,
Were you ever
it would have
admitted to a facility?
no, 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 no. This was like it was in California,
Okay.
and it like you just live there, like not live there, but like it was. If I would have lived close by, I could have g- gone,
Got
but
it.
it's almost like a camp, sort of
Got it.
like a luxury type thing. I don't know. It was really really ineffective, but that's what I did. I was never admitted, and I'm just lucky. I'm lucky that I stumbled across this type of treatment, and it just made it to where it's not anything that I think about. I can I can go about my day, and I'm completely, totally normal. I manage
Great.
a multi-million dollar business. I guess that's how you would say it. Like we gross in the millions a year, and am able to effectively manage that company and without distraction. And I know that wouldn't have been the case 20 years ago.
Now, did the program in California, in your opinion, did it help you at all?
I think it helped me realize that I needed to do something, but it wasn't effective the way that it should have been. I think if I was, as I told you at the beginning, this came about completely, uh, not innocently, but like I didn't seek out this because I was bored. It happened
Right.
because of an injury, and
Got
so
it.
I wanted all along. I wanted to stop, but the physical barriers that it created is what made that impossible. Mentally, I was very capable of stopping. It wasn't. I do feel like I'm a little bit different in that way, where I didn't do it because it's something that I just mentally liked. the physical part is what I just could not get past, and this
So you
made
were the
that.
best little boy in the world, weren't you?
No, no. I mean, see, and again, I'm able to make excuses and make it seem okay. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, I didn't do it out of boredom,
Got it.
um, and so I didn't. When I went through these rehab scenarios, they weren't effective because I wasn't to a point where I was ready to stop physically. I don't know what the words are, but like it's not something that you can say I need to talk to a friend and that make the aches and bodily problems stop, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. How did you learn about Suboxone?
I can't even remember. I think either my mom saw it or maybe an ad somewhere. I really don't remember. But at that point, desperation was so intense to stop this that I was willing to try whatever. And at the time it was so relatively new that it seemed like you were trading one problem for another, but that's certainly not the case. And 20 years later, it's a miracle. It really is. I mean, it truly is a miracle treatment.
Now, I talk to you once every 28 days or every 4 weeks, and you never have any problems. You're my typical patient, okay? You're boring, okay? We have nothing to really talk about except your business, my business, our lives, etc. And it's great. You have a family, right?
I do. And I take a lot of pride too in you saying that. And it makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing. And I don't want this to come across as critical because it's not, but like it almost makes me feel guilty and wrong whenever I have to go and do a drug screen or anything like that. And I know that you have to do it.
Yeah.
You
We have to
you
treat
you
everybody the same.
right,
Everybody
right.
the same.
I'm painting a picture of my maturity, I think, in this program that like I wouldn't dare do anything to mess it up. I I I, I want to stay the same, and I don't want to do anything that could jeopardize that.
Now, I understand that you run a business, you have two little boys,
I do.
and you're a baseball coach.
I am,
Congrats.
and
Congratulations.
having the time for that is another important part of this.
Great.
The when you're in that life, it it takes so much time and so much effort and so much attention that you don't have time for other things. You don't have time to have a family or to coach baseball. And now again, it's something that is a part of my past, not my present.
Now, we're just about finished, so I just want to ask you a couple more questions. What would you recommend to other people on opioids who want to transition to Suboxone?
I mean, first you have to be at that point, and I don't know if that's a low. I don't know if that's um, a mindset. Everybody's different, but if you're serious about it and you're not just looking for a way to occupy time until that next prescription is available or until your dealer has more, or whatever the scenario is, if you're serious about getting on it and staying on it and stopping opiates for good, it works. Like it just flat out works. It's something that I just don't even think about. It's a non-existent part of my life.
Great. Well, I want to thank you so much for allowing us to talk about this issue. You know that the whole purpose of the podcast is to get people off of opioids and transition to Suboxone. You're a
I
very
do. And
brave person. You deserve to be
it also
congratulated. Good.
I was just going to say, it also helps when you have a doctor that listens and trusts you and believes you. And I've been on this long enough to have seen the different types, and you being who you are is helpful as well. And I'm not just saying that because like I'm just telling the truth. Like it truly helps when I know that the guy writing my prescription and is part of my treatment believes me.
I do. Well, we got to take care of each other. This is God's work. I'm not making a nickel doing this. And if I can get one person off of opioids and onto Suboxone, then I will have accomplished my task. Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day.
Well, I really appreciate everything you've done.
You're welcome, babe. Take care. I'm out. Stop it now.
Everybody had a hard year. What a time for the wicked, the hungry, and the brave.